Okay, we're on. Welcome, Brian. Hello? Hello? We have a new person this evening from Grassroots TV, and I'm just going to make sure that he knows he is welcome to our meeting. This is a regular meeting of Town Council on November 19th, 2018. It's a beautiful, beautiful day, and let's just pray for more snow. With that, I'll call the meeting to order. And Rhonda, we have oaths.
Yes, at this time, we're going to give the oaths to the new council members.
Stand up and get sworn in. Good thing we're all here.
Okay. I, Rhonda B. Coxon, the clerk within and for said municipality, do hereby certify that at a regular election held in said municipality on the 6th day of November, 2018, Bill Madsen received the greatest number of votes cast for any one person for the office of council member in and for said municipality. As appears from the official canvass of the votes cast on the said election in said Snowmass Village, made on the 6th day of November 2018, and that said that Bill Madsen is duly elected council member as foresaid. In witness thereof, I have hereto set my hand and official seal this 19th day of November 2018. Rhonda B. Coxon, the town clerk. That's for you.
I clapped too early.
I, Bill Madsen, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the state of Colorado, and the ordinances of the town of Snowmass Village, and will faithfully perform the duties of council member upon which I am about to enter.
Here we hereby and with said again. I, Rhonda B. Coxon, the clerk within and for said municipality, do hereby certify that at a regular election held in the said municipality on the 6th day of November 2018, Marky Butler received the greatest number of votes cast for any one person for the office of mayor in and for the said municipality. As appears from the official canvass of the votes cast at the election in said Snowmass Village, made on the 6th day of November 2018, and that said Marky Butler is duly elected mayor. As foresaid, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and official seal this 19th day of November 2018, Rhonda B. Coxon, the town clerk.
I, Marky Butler. Do I have to do this? Yes, please. I, Marky Butler, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and of the state of Colorado and the ordinances of the town of Snowmass Village, and will faithfully perform the duties of the mayor upon which I am about to enter. Thank you.
Thank you.
I, Rhonda B. Coxon, clerk within and for said municipality, do hereby certify that at a regular election held in the said municipality on the 6th day of November 2018, Bob Circus received the greatest number of votes cast for any one person for the office of council member in and for said municipality. As appears from the official canvass of the votes cast at the said election in said Snowmass Village, made on the 6th day of November 2018, and that said Bob Circus is duly elected council member as foresaid. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and official seal this 19th day of November, 2018, Rhonda B. Coxon, the town clerk.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand.
I, Bob Circus, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the State of Colorado and the ordinances of the town of Snowmass Village, and will faithfully perform the duties of the council member upon which I am about to enter. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And to you as well.
Now you may take roll, Mayor. Or I may take roll, I guess.
I forgot that was happening tonight.
Can I get my pen back?
Oh, you guys. Well, I do want to welcome everyone who came this evening, and I want to thank everyone who participated and attended last evening's wonderful celebratory event of the John Bemis Thanksgiving dinner. We had a great crowd and lots of great food, and I'm sure all of us gained 5 pounds.
Particularly those of us who hit the dessert table first.
Me.
Oh, was that you?
No.
I know, yeah, I know some of the guilty people. Yeah, I didn't even get to desserts. But with that said, it was a wonderful celebration, and it really does speak to the heart of this community, which we all so dearly love. So, Rhonda, you want to do roll call, please?
Butler?
Here.
Circus?
Here.
Mattson?
Here.
Shank? And Good.
Here.
I think Shank's watching from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, well, she may not be watching,
Okay.
but there is video. There's audio.
Okay, so she is listening. So this evening, the very first thing I will do is open for public comment. So if anyone in the public wants to come forward and make any statements, please do so. Yeah, we have a consent agenda item regarding Gwen's, but there's some suggestions about moving that to the meeting on the 6th. Yeah, you get to come up front. Yes, we can. Sure. Anybody else? Seeing no one else, we're going to go ahead and move towards the consent agenda. There's several items, draft agendas, minutes for approval, then an ordinance 11, the post grant. And I have a question about the EOTC. So I'll be pulling that out for 2 seconds. I have a question. Resolution number 36, series of 2018. This was a resolution of strong support for Gwen's. And the next is resolution number 35, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Snowmass Village approving the initial 2019 budget for Pitkin County 1/2 cent sales tax. So we have 2 associated with that. So do I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay,
Seconded.
second. Do we have anything that anyone wants to discuss?
I'm going to pull out the draft agenda. I'm going to be missing on January 22nd.
Okay.
Not missing, just absent.
Okie dokie. I'd like to bring out the RAFTA, or the EOTC budget. Is that in, that's in here somewhere. Where was that one? Dave? So, in looking at the budget for, I think it was 2019, find it.
Is it resolution number 35?
Page 22.
Yeah, the budget number 22. Okay. We have on here Brush Creek BRT connecting service spring, summer, fall, 50% from Snowmass Savings Fund. How does the ballot initiative that passed for RAFTA 7A affect this one line item?
As you see, it's not an item carried forward into the future. 2019 will be the first year of collection, and so the funds won't necessarily be totally in place until 2020.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that,
And I believe RAFTA staff mentioned that at the RAFTA board meeting, that they anticipate that they would be covering this expense.
and are they also going to cover the 15-minute headways?
That is the 15,
No, this is
the BRT connecting service is the 15-minute headway. Although we
So-
haven't met with them and spoken about what hours of operation that is, or what changes to the BRT service on weekends might be.
So they're only going to cover spring, summer, and fall?
Well, it's winter, the 15-minute service connections already exist
Okay,
through the
Okay.
in concert with the RAFTA Aspen Ski Company contract.
okay, because I did go back and look at all the ballot work that was done and all the detail for Snowmass. It wasn't as clear as what I assumed that it was. So you've been talking with RAFTA and, okay, good. Okay, that was my only question on the EOTC.
Thank you.
When did you, or George, did you want to come up? Anyone who wants to come up?
My turn.
Yeah, Alyssa has requested, and with our consent agenda, I'd like to move the agenda item and resolution till the first meeting in December, but go ahead.
Okay, I missed the first meeting because we were on an airplane and I didn't even know the resolution was coming up until we were already on an airplane out. So I came back late that night and I didn't get to hear anything until I got back and got to talk to George and to our daughter Whitney. So I just want to say you guys have been incredible. The whole community, as far as the support, has been just amazing to us, the people that have reached out and have been just so positive. And, you know, you look at it all, and I have to say, we have had the best working relationship with the ski company. It's been fabulous. And, you know, to top it all off, Steve Sewell, who could have a better mountain manager, and we're going to miss him so much. But at the same time, we know Susan Cross, and it'll be great moving forward working with her these next 2 years. And, you know, you look at Mark Gressett, who has done so much to make our mountain incredible. The grooming is spectacular. You look at last year and you go, how is that? How did we even, well, we didn't open until December 23rd, which was frightening, but you look at the snow now. But you look at all the players, and especially all the mom and pop businesses that have been so much a part of our community, and that sense of what makes us special. You know, kind of like the European resorts, everything on those mountains are small refugios. They all have different characters, just like all the people down on the mall. They're incredible. All of the little businesses, that's what, you know, all of us love and why we're part of Snowmass. So I guess I'm proud of all that, and nothing can really change that except being the mama bear. You know, we really, really hoped that Whitney would be able to continue. And that makes me emotional.
Of course.
So, but I have to say, it's been 38 years. And I keep on going, how is that possible? George isn't that old. I'm obviously not that old, but, you know, we've had such a great time on that mountain. We've brought up our children, and now it's our grandchildren that ride the snowmobiles early in the morning. So it's been great, and we wanted to carry that tradition on. From what we've heard, that's not going to happen. We were still holding out to think maybe it would, because we know that another one of the privately owned restaurants has a lease, has another extenuating, like, I think it's an extension or an option for another 3 years. So we kind of expected that's what was going to happen. But with all of that said, George would say he's resigned. I would say I'm still the optimist, ever hopeful that something can happen, because it's part of the character of who we are. That's, we're different. We're a very small community that's very tightly knit, and I think our guests love it. They love the fact that there's just kind of a different character, that we're not Vale. I hate to say that, but we're not Vale, and it's so different. But it's going to be a really good year this year. There's so much snow, and George has a sunburn not because he's been playing in the sun. He's been shoveling the decks about every other day, which is a fabulous thing. So anyway, we're looking forward to the future, and we really do hope that we have a great working relationship with the ski company. We don't expect anything less. We're going to really miss Steve Sewell, though, because he's been fabulous. And we did send out a kind of a joint communication to our employees at the same time the ski company sent it out to their employees, that we said basically we really want this to be great, and we're working together. And I mean, we want everyone to know that things are changing right now. So that's where we're at.
Thank you so very much. Really appreciate the entire Gordon family. Yeah, it's very, very hard to accept reality at times. It's the only place I go for lunch. Because
We're going to have to eat a lot in the next 2 years.
I think I'm going to have to. Because when you come in to Gwen's, who do you see? All four of you. And the kids, Jamie, with a grandkid ready to go out and go skiing. I mean, it's a very, very special place. And thank you for talking about the refugios over in Italy and all over Europe. That's the reason why I love to go to Europe, because everyone's different. So, I get emotional thinking about it. Okay, anything else or anyone else on the consent agenda? If not, do I have a motion for?
Madam Mayor, since there is an ordinance on here, if you could do it by roll call, that'd be great.
Oh, I forgot about the ordinance.
You can just approve the consent with roll call, and that'll meet the need.
Okay, let's do the consent, then we'll do the ordinance, okay? All in support of the consent agenda, and then I'll do the ordinance separately.
So are you gonna pull this resolution out?
Which one?
Gwen's resolution.
No. We just had a comment. We're gonna move it until the 6th of December.
Okay.
So it's not in the consent agenda at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's
It
in the
is,
consent
it is.
agenda.
It's in
The
the
only
consent
action on the
agenda
consent
to-
agenda is to move it to the
to-
December 3rd meeting
Yeah.
for consideration.
Consideration.
So you're not approving the resolution.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay. So all in favor of the consent agenda, other than the ordinance?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the ordinance, and this is the I-70 West Peace Officer Standards, which we heard about at the last meeting, that Brian Olson in our police department so well run, so thank you. Rhonda, roll call.
Butler,
Yes.
Circus,
Yes.
Mattson,
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Passes 4-0.
Okay, thank you all. Now we're moving on to the comprehensive plan.
Madam Mayor, could I just suggest that we look at the asteroid question, because the comprehensive plan is gonna take a lot longer than that should, and we can allow those people to go home and get dinner.
Oh, come on, they really want to sit through this.
No, I'm really happy that we had so many people from Saab
Yeah, it's
come
wonderful.
to talk about
So
this.
let's do that. I think it's a great idea, so I'll accept that suggestion.
Thanks.
So come on up. Okay, thank you.
She said, talk into the microphone. Hi,
Yeah, hey, how are you, Linda?
my name's Linda Rennick, and I'm the current chairman of the SOB committee. With me today are Haley Walsh and Darlene Fridstein, and we are here to recommend a project for your approval in conjunction with CORE, the Community Office for Resource Efficiency, and the Anderson Ranch. The project was initially brought to our board for partial funding by CORE Director Lara Whitley to celebrate 25 years of sustainable energy and climate mitigation in the Roaring Fork Valley. To this effort, a month-long program featuring gallery showings and lectures by local, national, and international artists called Imagine Climate will be presented at the Anderson Ranch in March. We Are the Asteroid project is a solar-powered LED highway message sign created by Justin Bryce Guerrilla. Do we have a picture of that we can show, or do you all have a picture of it?
It's in the packet.
Is it in the packet? Have you
But for
seen
the
what it looks like?
For the audience, it'd be great if we could pull one up.
Excuse me.
This artist is not only an artist, but he's an environmental activist. The board strongly feels this work combines the need to raise awareness of the global crisis of climate change by stimulating conversation and promoting thought through art. A highway sign located off the highway. Unusual and unexpected, and with an interesting message. We are the asteroid. See it there?
Yep.
Okay. So, we are the asteroid. What does that mean? I mean, normally you would see a highway sign such as this in a construction area, or you would see it along, you know, like we see, beware, watch out for wildlife. What could this possibly mean? Well, first thing you do is you think, what does that mean? So we all looked at it when this was brought to us by Lara, and I thought, what does that mean? And you start thinking, and you're thinking, and you think, well, people, earthlings that we are, we think of when is the big asteroid going to hit. We see movies about when is the asteroid going to hit and wipe us all out. Well, we don't have to worry about the asteroid hitting us and wiping us out because we are wiping ourselves out. That's essentially the thought that is promoting. So, SOB is working with SkiCo to possibly see this piece of artwork located somewhere up on Elk Camp. Not where skiers would run into it, of course. We don't want that kind of tragedy. I was thinking I personally would like to see it as I was riding up a lift or up the gondola. And this would take place in March, just at the perfect time when the snow is melting, earlier than usual. The rocks are starting to show, runs are being closed, which brings to mind, of course, that climate change is happening earlier and earlier, especially for our community, where we used to get great snow all of March. Now sometimes March is bring out the rock skis and, you know, hope you don't kill yourself as you're getting down the mountain. For someone who personally has been skiing here since 1960, I was very spoiled, and I used to think if we didn't get 120 inches of snow, it was a crappy year. I used to jump off the rooftops at the bunkhouse at the base of, I'm really dating myself, it's true. We used to go up to the top of the bunkhouse and jump off into the snow. It was so deep. You'd walk down Aspen and you couldn't see because the snow plows had made the snow so high you could not see when you were driving. The snow was just piled way over visual height. I mean, it was amazing. Now, if it's 80 inches of snow, we think we're doing great, right? Well, this is climate change, folks. It's happening right here and now, and I've witnessed it through my ski life of 50 some odd years, 58 years. I'm gagging. Yeah, that's true. So some of you are probably looking at this and saying, but is this art? Well, I'm here to tell you that art takes many forms. It's not always a painting or a piece of sculpture. It's not always music. It's not always poetry. Sometimes it's a child's drawing, a 2-year-old's drawing that parents have proudly put upon their refrigerator, and they're just so proud of that, right? Or it's graffiti under a bridge, or it's the layout of a garden, or the way your dinner's presented to you magnificently by a chef. If it gives rise to your imagination, if it promotes possibility, creativity, expands your horizons, provokes conversation, and stimulates your brain to open your horizons, that's what art's intended to do. And what we think this project does is it brings up a critical social problem that we want as a community to bring awareness to people that come from out of state, out of town, as well as all the people that live here and treasure this beautiful valley. So we hope that you will approve this project. We would be paying 1/10 of what the total project would cost. The artist and Anderson Ranch will be doing the placement, installation. The artist will be around for any issues that come up, which they don't expect. There's absolutely nothing as far as electrical, because it's all solar powered, and it's just imagine a matter of finding the right place. And then we're actually hoping in our art in unexpected places to see if we could move it so people could say, where is it now? Will it say something different? So that's all still in the works. But if you have any questions, I'm going to turn it over to Haley, one of my committee members, because she's from Anderson Ranch, and she can fill you in on any more details that you might
So
have.
Haley, so in March, is there a lot of, what I heard was a lot of programming going on at Anderson?
Yes, so
Give us a little snippet.
yeah, I have to admit I don't know too many of the details at this point, but from what I understand, this is in conjunction with a whole exhibition that'll take place at Anderson Ranch throughout the month of March. So Justin is not the only artist that will be taking part in this. It's a group of really exciting, esteemed artists who are all working in this issue and bringing to light a lot of really amazing ideas and thoughts around climate change. So I think it's going to be really exciting. We've spoken with the East-West partners about possibly doing something up at the Collective, their new community center. So they're going to partner with us on that as well. Partner with Anderson Ranch, that is, on this. So I think it's going to be a really fun and exciting month, and we'll see this show kind of pop up in a lot of different iterations around the community, which is a nice tie-in.
Was the artist's plan to leave the message the same for the entire time, or to put in different messages over time?
From what I understand, this one would just be "We Are the Asteroid."
Okay.
We could approach them about.
But we are looking into it. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but we would like to open, I mean, it seems to be an open possibility that the message could change. And if the artists were willing, that we might also be able to change the location, which I think would make it a richer, venue and opportunity and expression.
Yeah, we all got an email from Laura today and mentioned that there might be some limitations in moving it around, but power isn't one of them, so that's nice. I mean, it occurred to us just in a few minutes before the meeting that, again, a potential place to put it would be at the corner of Owl Creek and Brush Creek, where the town has that little park, which is pretty flat, and there's nothing going on there really in the wintertime.
Yeah, that'd be
So
great.
details are still to be worked out.
Yet to be worked out.
Yeah, for sure.
You got
And
plenty
we
of
do
time.
have to
You got
pick a
plenty of
site.
time.
So is this piece ready to go?
Yeah, ready to go.
And is it at the ranch at the moment, or?
It's not, but the artist is going to be responsible for getting it out here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is the artist from?
That's a good question. We have his bio.
He works out of New York. His studio is upstate. He has a really prolific career up to this point. His CV is pretty impressive. He's had shows around the country. He does both like print work and small sculpture work, as well as kind of message conceptual work like this. He's been involved in projects like he went to Puerto Rico after the hurricane with Iwiwi to, explore, investigate the effects of the hurricane on the environment. He's done a lot of things around the country, so I'd say he's probably in his late 40s.
He's had shows in Los Angeles,
Right.
and Chicago.
He has a piece in Chicago right now. This was actually photographed at the Storm King Art Center, which is just about an hour and a half outside of New York. He and a group of other environmental artists had like a 1-month exhibition there this summer.
I like your explanation, Linda. You really helped me.
The other quick question is there limitations on the daylight hour or the evening hours that it will be lit?
I don't know. I mean, it's solar powered, so I don't know how much.
Well,
I
I'm
don't know
saying,
its
I mean,
capacity.
depending on our
to-
neighborhoods and where it's going to go, if it's going to be bothering anybody at night. It's not like having to be on sign out
I
your
don't,
window all of a
I
sudden.
don't think we would choose a place that would bother anyone at night. Really, since it's supposed to be somewhere that you wouldn't expect it, I don't think we would put it in a neighborhood. In other words, we are hoping to get it on the mountain or someplace like Owl Creek Road. We would prefer it not be on a road, since it's a road sign, and the idea is to take this medium and put it somewhere where it shouldn't be. So you would expect to see a road sign on the road. We would prefer it not be on the road. So that remains to be seen, but we would definitely make sure that it wouldn't be bothering anyone at night.
Least expected.
Right.
Yeah, least expected place.
Art in unexpected places.
Okay, any other questions? So we have resolution number 37. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further questions? All in support?
Aye.
Good job.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate
Great.
your
Thank you, ladies.
So if you want to stay for the
this,
comprehensive
and we
plan.
hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
I
you very
feel
much,
left
Linda.
out.
Thanks, team. This is great work.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're going to move to the comprehensive plan. And this, at this time, I'm going to continue the public hearing. This is first reading of an ordinance amending the Town of Snowmass Village Comprehensive Plan. We have received the red marked up comp plan. We have the comp plan final version not marked up. And also in our packet, we had the Planning Commission Resolution number 8. So with that said, I'm going to open it up to Julianne, and I see Jamie Knowlton here who chairs the Planning Commission. So Jamie, you feel free to add anything you want to as we go through this process. Okay.
Okay, this is the final draft of the comprehensive plan. We incorporated all of the previous comments that town council wanted done. We had built on the recommendations that came from the Planning Commission, and those were incorporated into the draft as well. This is a first reading on it, so town council will need to decide if you're ready to consider Ordinance 9, which was attached to the packet, and either adopt, modify, or denied approval of that ordinance. And I just saw an email from Councilwoman Schenk, and she had some comments that she had put forward. unfortunately, I didn't get much of a time. Her page numbers seemed to be a little off from mine, because I couldn't quite locate where some of her comments were in the short amount of time I had to look at this, so.
It just came in.
And as far as we're concerned, at least, you know, my reading this through, it didn't sound like there was anything really substantial that that I was concerned about, that I thought, you know, council really should chat about this in a lot more detail or what have you.
Most of them are language.
Yes.
How do you want to go through this?
Well, I think I'm just going to open it.
Page by page?
No. I think what we'll do, if you have questions or you would like to discuss a certain item,
Okay.
that you tell us where it is and what have you. What I see in Alyssa's comments are pretty much just style, format, and language. Did you all read that?
Except for she also had page 45/76, talking about Saab a little bit.
Yeah, that's there, yeah.
And before we get into some of the details, we just might want to reiterate for those folks that might be listening, I mean, just kind of the big picture that the plan's trying to achieve, and that executive summary kind of touches on it. And I know the council went over it with the Board of County Commissioners maybe a month ago. But, you know, and if I might just take a minute or two and just say, you know, I'm going to read from this, a couple of these sections, the executive summary. The plan is written to clearly implement the community's belief that the conservation and environmental stewardship shall be the overarching ethos that guide decision-making and will help ensure that the new development is controlled to protect the natural environment and maintain the unique small-town atmosphere of the village. That's what 200 pages is hopefully trying to say. That there's going to be a combination, that when projects come through, they'll be evaluated through a combination of the aspiration statement, which is from 2010, the guiding principles, which are new through this plan, and the just big enough economic analysis, which is from 2004. But hopefully, as we develop or change or ideas come forth, that any of those ideas are processed through the framework of those three categories. The aspiration statement is still to maintain, you know, to be a great resort community. The guiding principles are those 7 principles put forward, 7 or 9. Stewardship, vibrant, genuine, active, healthy, balanced, connected, and inclusive. Oops. The just big enough idea is really, it's complex when it was put together, but what it comes down to is that the community should be no bigger than it absolutely needs to be, and the concept of allowing no more development than necessary and only being just big enough holds strong in this comprehensive plan that's before you, hopefully. And then finally, you know, by focusing on sustainability, conservation, hopefully the 2018 comprehensive plan fundamentally limits any noteworthy development or redevelopment in Snowmass Village to the 3 areas: Town Park, Snowmass Center, and the Snowmass Mall. And if anything outside of those 3 areas comes forward, it's going to take extra review by the council. And then, you know, the conclusion is what it is, but hopefully after 200 pages, this whole plan says that, you know, we really respect the environment, and hopefully that's what we got put forward to y'all.
Jamie, you want to come on up?
Yes, thank you. Jamie Knowlton, hearing personally, Mr. Dresser, not as a member of the Planning Commission. Like most things, sort of hard to let go of things that you've been involved with. So I did read it, and I want to say that I'm proud of it. I think it looks good. My hat's off to Julianne to pull it together, but to keep all the disparate moving parts moving in the same direction. So I liked it. I read it. I thought it really captured what we worked so hard for so many years on. So, but I did find one thing that caught my eye, and it's on page. I was reading the red-lined version.
Okay.
And it said page 28. It's actually page 18 of the plan.
Okay.
And I think on the agenda page is 59 of 460. So
Okay, got it.
however you get it. There's a note there about how to deal with other CPAs. not the 3 that were identified in the plan. And in the mark, it said, well, how to deal with it would be to add a level, an extra level of review. And that was in a little green box to the left, if you see that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, maybe we should have addressed it, we didn't. My suggestion would be, is to rather say that any development of the CPAs that were not mentioned would still be guided by the principles and the values that are outlined in this update. That would be my only comment in order to, if anybody comes up with a proposal for a development outside the 3 CPAs, that these values that we worked on, these guiding principles still apply. And I don't know if that is possible because we never talked about it. But I think it's as Clint read, the aspiration agreement, a statement, just big enough, and you know, maintaining the small town character of our community and honoring the town or the environment. We're guiding principles. Basically, it comes down to it's our home. You know, the earth is our home. Our community is our home. We just like to treat it that way going forward. So that's the only thing I have to say, other than, you know.
And I'd say that is absolutely the intent. I mean, if anything, I think that's what we were trying to do in that plan framework. There's a few paragraphs that in it, all those things you just identified, anything from outside the CPAs should be reviewed with what's in the plan and maybe anything else because they weren't even planned for. So I think it's even more strict. What you said plus is that what we're trying to identify.
Yeah, that's fine. When I read that, I just wanted to make sure that was clear, and that was part of what we were doing, you know, wordsmithing.
So I want to play devil's advocate, Clint and Julianne.
Sure.
And this is just because people change.
Yep.
The council will not be the same in a few years from now. How do we underscore the process for any other additional CPAs to reflect they must follow the values and the principles?
Say that again?
Okay, I'll go all the way back. You know, we all change. The council members will change over time.
Yes.
And not thinking that town staff will change.
Is that too loud?
Well, we never know. We never know. How can we be assured that as additional CPAs might come forth, and there's these additional layers of review against the principles and the value, where do we reflect that, not only in the process? I don't know what that process is going to look like. We can talk about it now, but I don't know where is that documented. That's going to be the additional level of review.
Well, currently, the CPAs are addressed in detail in the Land Use and Development Code.
Okay.
So, with this language in the comprehensive plan about it might require an additional step, when we begin making suggested changes to the Land Use Code next year, that would be one of the sections that we would be looking at, is to make sure that that's addressing an additional step, that's built into the process, so that you all are looking at it early on and either kind of given this or like a, you know, depending on what the project is that comes in.
Okay, so we'll see more clarification in the land use, which comes forward next year. Okay.
So that raises a question for me.
Okay.
That is, this document, this comp plan gets passed. It requires certain changes to the land use code in order for the two documents to be in sync with one another.
Correct.
So what happens to a land use proposal that is presented between the time that the land use code is updated to conform to the comp plan?
Well, presuming the application came in after the adoption of this plan.
Yeah.
They would need to comply, I'm sorry, they would need to be consistent with the policies of the plan. So if they came in while we were going through comp plan changes, I would have to defer to the city attorney as to his opinion on that.
Which takes precedence?
The code.
The code does. So anyone who brings in a land use proposal in this time frame where the two documents are not in sync must follow the land use code in spite of what.
This is a guiding document.
Right, okay.
And you could make a finding in the code that says it's not consistent with the comp plan.
Okay. Yep.
You could make that finding, but that doesn't
Comp plan doesn't require anything, it advises.
Right.
And then you hold it up against the code for consistency with the comp plan.
Okay, so,
But I could show you many examples of development throughout town.
yeah, that
People
didn't
would argue
comply.
is not consistent with the comp plan of the day.
Right, right. So then it becomes up to the planning commission and the council to decide whether the inconsistency with the comp plan is significant enough to require modification to the proposal.
To defeat general consistency.
Defeat or,
Yeah.
okay,
A lot of times municipalities, if once a new comp plan is adopted, they will enact a moratorium
yeah.
on development applications while they revise the code to be
That's
consistent.
what,
That's
that's,
the key answer.
that was my thought. But I was trying to,
You were trying to make me use the moratorium word and not you.
yeah, there you go.
I understand.
It's not a bad idea.
I just said that it's happened here.
Yeah,
It has happened
exactly right.
elsewhere. And
That's right.
it is a way of assuring that the newly determined vision for the community going forward is properly documented in the code and things don't slip through the cracks. It does not, however, affect pending applications.
Right.
That are in place at the present.
Pending applications.
Do we have pending applications? I'm looking over.
Yes, we
Okay.
do.
Sure.
Okey
We
dokey.
do.
Yep.
Enclave? Enclave is pending?
Centers.
Is the center's pending?
Well, yeah.
I mean, anyone is in the process, is pending,
Correct.
correct?
So you don't have any other ones than the ones that we just spoke to? Any new ones?
Not anything significant.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm sorry to kind of go off on that little tangent, but to bring it back to what we were saying about the non-identified CPAs. We, on page 18 of, or page 59 of 460 and page 18 of the plan, it looks like we add a box that says narratives describing the principles and characteristics, and that's, I think, what Jamie was referring to, right?
He was referring to this other one.
He's referring to the green highlighted one.
Yeah, I know he was. I know.
Looking at the red marked?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
looking at the red line.
okay.
And because this red box speaks to the 3 CPAs, but it doesn't speak to the non-CPAs. So the green box, or this other black box, whatever, speaks to the non-CPAs, outside the CPAs. But it doesn't, all it says is that it requires an extra level of review. And even though I think we all understand that outside, other development ideas would need to fit the same aspiration statements as the included CPAs, I guess I'd feel better if it said that in that little box. And then it leaves no doubt.
That was my question.
Yeah, I know it was, that's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I'm coming
yeah,
back
yeah.
to it.
So I think it would be helpful if we reiterate, or land use code.
Well,
I'm just loading the red mark. I had the
Yeah.
clean version
Yeah, what,
open, so
what
I don't
page on the,
know.
what's the page on the?
18 of the document, red line.
it's 18 of the document. It's 18 of the other document, too.
Okay, that's, yeah, I'm just,
It's kind of a black box.
460.
I'm just trying to look at the
It's
clean.
number 60. Oh, you're looking at the clean.
Because because my question is, do we achieve that on the clean document, which you're talking about?
No, because you don't change anything. I mean, the clean document just looks like the red line document.
Right.
I'm looking at the November red line document.
Mhm. So, I mean, and I guess I'm reading the clean document. I'm on page 251, and it says, although development outside of all of the 3 CPAs is discouraged, creative development is encouraged, but may require an extra level of review, such as through a pre-sketch meeting with the town council and the planning commission.
Right.
That's,
And then what needs to be added there is that this development outside of the CPAs must follow or must adhere to the aspiration statements and the other parts.
I think it does say that, Bob.
I guess it just, I mean, that three-legged stool, if you want to call it that for a second, I think that's implied.
Overriding.
That's overarching, that's through everything that, I mean, that Jamie said earlier, I think that's, everything that comes before you should be reviewed through those principles, or those frameworks.
Right.
And that was my question was, people may not be sitting in the same seats. Is that clear? Is it clear versus implied?
What, I would offer that when you put when you put the language in the land use and development
Okay.
code, that should be very specific about the
Yes.
fact that it needs to meet those three-legged stool criteria, so to speak. Not that language, but
See, this only applies.
I mean,
that would be the
Fine.
goal.
And if I
That
can,
answer was very helpful to me.
and if I can read just for 1 second, in order to meet the high standards and expectations of the community, every development proposal and strategic initiative will be expected to meet the standards and values identified in the overarching framework created by the combination of the aspiration statement, the guiding principles, and the just big enough economic analysis.
3 CPAs follow.
Okay, I'll wait till everyone is
Sorry,
listening.
we're just looking at the final paragraph.
Read it again.
So with what you just said, Clint, from what page was that on?
It's in the executive summary. It's the
Okay.
part that everybody really bought off on, and I'll, just in case you guys didn't hear it. In order to meet the high standards and expectations of the community, every development proposal and strategic initiative will be expected to meet the standards and values identified in the overarching framework created by the combination of the aspiration statement, the guiding principles, and the just big enough economic analysis. And so I think that's
it's
really
covered.
hitting it. I
It's
think that's,
covered. Right there in the executive summary. I'm fine. Okay, other areas.
Sure. Page 26 of the plan.
Red line or,
Doing regular.
Well, it's, on the red line, it's 67 of 460, but it's page 26 of the comp plan.
Of the red line or the clean?
26 of the clean.
It's 26 on both of them,
and what's,
and it's 67 of 460 on the red line.
okay, got it.
Mhm.
Okay. And this is on promote the town resiliency and
Yes.
sustainability.
So I'm
plan.
gonna take one more shot
Okay,
at a resiliency statement to add into the land use and open space section.
okay,
And it would be, include regulations in the land use code that consider disaster mitigation in construction planning and materials.
Where would you put this?
That would be under 3, land use and open space. It would be item C.
Okay,
Bob,
Or-
would you repeat that again, please?
Yeah, what I wrote was include, but adopt would be appropriate too. Adopt regulations in the land use code that consider disaster mitigation in construction planning and materials. So, as a real easy example, okay, you require, you require asbestos shingles and not cedar shake in a wildfire zone. Okay, that's the kind of, that would be the kind of thing you might consider.
that's in the green building code.
But we already have that.
We have-
in
Well,
there.
I'm just using
Use
it
that
as an example.
Okay.
It's just an example.
I think what
And
that
maybe s-
redundancy is gonna be fine.
Yeah, and maybe some of these things are in the green building code, I don't know.
Can you say it a third time? I was typing slow.
Yeah, I'm, adapt
Mm-hmm.
regulations in the land use code that consider disaster mitigation in construction, planning, and materials.
I don't know if you need the word materials. Because materials is part of your construction planning.
I think you actually want to say construction materials and not use the term planning.
Okay,
Okay,
I think that would be
that would work,
clearer.
because it's in the green building
Okay.
code.
Yeah.
It's already there.
I'm fine with that, Bob, I
Yeah.
like that.
Okay,
thank you.
next item.
Okay, this is just another question that came to my mind. Page 41 of the plan, or page 82 of 460 in the red line. We've used in a number of places on the subject of employee housing, this 70% of full-time year-round employees, and then in parentheses, we put 60% of total employees. It occurred to me that if in fact the number of part-time employees increases more substantially than the number of full-time employees, that this 60% of total employees is something that's going to be hard to do, because it's going to skew. In other words, the part-time employees will skew that and make it more difficult to reach the 60%, whereas you can reach the 70% of full-time. So what I'm throwing up on the table is that we just take out the parenthesis with the 60% of total.
Well, you inserted the word part-time in your statement.
Yeah, I
Well,
did,
you also have temporary employees.
yeah.
Seasonal.
So you have the seasonal workers, you have part-time, and then you have full-time.
Well, I think when we're talking about 70% of full-time, right, then what, the other types of employees are part-time, seasonal, and temporary, right? So any one or all three of them could expand at a greater rate than the full-time,
Absolutely.
right? And that will throw that ratio off.
Yep.
So that's really what I'm just trying to say.
So I would support taking out the 60% of total employees, because then you get into a philosophical argument. Is it our responsibility to provide housing for temporary employees?
And I was just confirming the way we did the analysis. I mean, and I agree it's confusing, we can clean it up, but just so you understand how it's done, we do it on FTEs. And so 2 20-hour-a-week jobs is 1 FTE.
Okay, got
And
that.
so I think that might address the issue that you're
That-
bringing.
I think
It's
that
not
do-
a bodies, it's FTE.
I think that does help it.
And that's how we run the
How do you
that's how we
handle
run the
the
analysis.
temporary employees? Because there's temporary employees that come up just for construction, for a specific project.
Yeah, and so it's been a long time town policy for, I don't know, I'll just say a very long time, that we don't address seasonal. We work for full-time
Okay,
year-round, and that's how
okay.
we do that FTE count.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So are you okay with the language as it stands?
Yes, on that purpose I
fine.
am.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yep.
Okay,
Page
go for it.
96 of 460. No, that's not, yeah, 96 of 460, or 55, I'm sorry, of the,
Red line.
yeah, of the red line. So,
Wait, what is the page number on the plan?
55.
55.
Thank you.
55. The lower picture on that page is I think it looks to me like it's a picture before the construction of building 7 and 8. And I guess I'd propose to get a new picture with 7 and 8 in it,
Oh,
so that we can, so that we can see the view plane
right.
with 7 and 8 from that position.
Yeah, because it talks about it's 2018. That's not exactly how it looks right now.
I think not, but
We can update that.
I think
Julianne's a photographer, she took that shot, so.
thank you, Julianne.
Okay. Is there anything else in the body, or can we please go to Alyssa's comment? And that was, where was that? It's on 45 of 76.
Well, 45 is the red line version, I think.
He probably is. Okay,
I don't see 3.4.
I don't see 3.4. Okay, now where in the heck is it? She uses
I'm not
eyelid.
sure that she's working off of the red marked.
I don't think so either. 45 is 76. Is she
Uh,
on
she just says,
iLegislate?
remind me on the red line page 45. She just texted me. Page 45, why we changed to fully developed.
I'm sorry, page 45.
Page
of
45.
the plan.
On the, I'm assuming on the final plan, and why we changed to fully developed.
Well, what I'm showing is
You probably-
45 is not the red
Oh,
line.
that's the green circles thing?
I don't know,
Oh,
where,
I'm on
I have
page
no idea where
45.
this
Oh,
is.
she's coming back
She's
with-
talking about
Build
something
more
on Saab.
community infrastructure in the public realm is 45. What page is she on?
I have no idea,
She
I'm
says-
lost.
45 is not the red line, is not red line.
So maybe 76 is red line. What's 76 look like?
I think she's referring to at the beginning of the plan, that section that says, why plan? And then one of the circles, we did change the word, it didn't say fully, but we put the word fully in to clarify. I'm trying to find the page so I can be
Okay.
more articulate.
No, she just, what she wrote to me is something different, sorry, she said.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're not supposed to be including, yeah, we really can't do this. Because she's not attending the meeting.
This isn't the end of your discussion
No.
on this.
Yeah, that's true,
She bring
too.
us back to the next discussion.
On the 17th.
So are there other items within the plan?
Yes.
Okay, what page?
Let me see, let me just look here a minute.
I do have a question when you, that it's not related to this detailed review. In the poster plan, in the future, it may have been lost, and I did have the question by at least 5 people in Snowmass Village yesterday. When are we gonna get a dog park? Isn't that in the poster plan? And
Yes.
should it be carried over into this document?
It is.
Okay, okay.
It is.
And I mean, just to answer that question more specifically, the poster committee's got that request specifically and is not prioritized in the top 4 or 5 or whatever the number was,
Okay.
projects.
But it's still
But
in
it
the
is
plan.
specified
I said it
in-
was in the plan,
yes.
I just don't want to be wrong.
And I brought that forward into that chapter
Okay,
on the poster plan.
I didn't look for it last
Which
night.
is, it's not a chapter, it's in an appendices.
Okay,
it's
is
in the
that but
appendices.
see, the appendices is not part of the comp plan.
But the poster
Okay,
referred to, it's
okay.
Okay, so, page 56 of 460 that's the red line version
56,
of 460. It's page 15 of the plan. There's a box that says, "This insert will change with the changes noted on the following page." And the insert looks like it's pointing to, it looks like it's pointing to the box that kind of encompasses, oh, I think I understand this now. Maybe not. The following page.
So, yeah, and then on the page 16 of the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think,
I mean, those are you're seeing Julianne's notes to herself. It's like,
Yeah,
make
but
sure,
I have a lot of notes in that
make sure,
benchmark.
because
sorry,
if we're taking page 15, make sure 16 reflects the
Yes.
pages on
got it,
page
I
15.
understand.
And so that's why
I-
she and I both looked at the clean plan
And
for
and
tonight.
there were some notes that said, Sandrine, let's discuss this or whatever, so
Okay.
there were some of that too, but
So the next suggestion is page 27 of the plan, 68 of 460 in the red line. It's just, there are 2 places here and then the one at the appendix where we talk about, we have a disclaimer. And
What page are you on?
page 27 of the plan, or 68,
You're down to the disclaimer, okay.
68 of 460.
Yeah, got it.
So, I guess I would like to see the disclaimer in a box, just like we put it on the red line in the document, so that when somebody's looking at it, the disclaimer comes out, and you see it. That's all.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I just read the disclaimer, that's it.
On,
you wanted that as a highlighted box.
Yes, highlight.
highlights, that's fine too.
Okay.
Oh. Here we go, on page 75 of 460 in the red line, or it's page 34, well, it's not 34 anymore, it's like 50, 64, I think, in the final document. Under continued next steps, the 1, 2, 3, the 4th bullet down, it
Okay.
says, require developers to provide. If you're with me,
Nope,
It's the 4th bullet.
wait, are you in the chart?
no,
No.
You in the red line, Bob?
I'm in the red line version,
What page?
Every time I
Page
open the red line, it crashes my computer.
It's 34 of the plan.
Okay.
34.
If you're not on the red line, if you're on the plan, it's 267 of 460. If that helps you.
Mm-hmm. Page 34.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Okay, 34, page 34.
Okay. Just above Connect Base Village to the mall,
Yes?
in that next the fourth bullet down from the top, require developers to provide. We had changed the word necessary to appropriate, and we just missed it in that space.
Okay. Okay.
Then,
Because it was correct in the table, correct?
yes, we corrected it in the table, but we didn't do it there.
Yep.
And then, sort of the opposite thing happened. 286 of 460, which is one of the charts. See if I can find this again. E2.
E2?
Yeah. They're in the next steps, we said we were gonna to commission a study,
Yes.
and it didn't end up in the chart.
It's the first bullet says commission a professional study.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there.
I'm pretty sure it's in there.
Yeah.
Commission a professional study to inform housing
Yeah,
policy.
it's
Oh,
there.
there it is. Sorry. I missed it.
Any other?
The orientation on some of those soil maps got twisted, so we might want to just straighten those out.
I think it's just in this software.
No.
Because when you look at it as the PDF that they sent us, they look like 11 by 17s. They are split down the middle,
Okay,
but the maps are there in their totality.
okay. Some are just upside down and some are sideways.
I think
And
they'll
like,
pick it
Julian,
up.
I think that's the conversion from the actual document to I legislate.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, one or two more.
Red line or what?
I can give it to you either way.
Let's do final version.
All right, final version 358. Red line version, if you want it, is 135. So the third bullet under that office supply, employment supply and demand, it kind of goes into the same kind of detail that was on the previous page under retail supply and demand, which is, creating estimates of new jobs and a 20-year life and additional square footage. And since we took it out of the previous page under retail, I think to be consistent, we should take it out of that section.
Why did we take it out of the other?
Because it's,
You're on page 125 of the plan, on page 358.
I think he's on 123.
Page 94.
I'm on
line
page
135.
358 of the final.
So it's page 125 of the plan itself?
135 on
Well,
red line.
well,
Page 123, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, 123.
I'm on page 135.
yeah, in the red line.
Okay.
On the
Okay.
final.
123 of
And
the plan.
you want to take this whole section out?
No, I want to take the last bullet out. The last bullet.
Why?
Because it makes projections that really go to a lot more growth than I think anybody wants. Just like, it's like the retail supply when there's a support for 60,000 square feet of new retail. We took that out because we thought that that wasn't the kind of growth we're thinking about. At least this council is thinking about.
Well, the 60,000 square feet's already part of that's already part of Base Village.
No, I think this is an addition.
You're talking about this whole issue on office employment, supply and demand.
Yeah, but if you go back to the previous page, right, and this is what we took out.
Yes, I see where you're going.
This is what we took out.
Okay. The previous page.
Well, yeah, the previous page we took out, all right, the comment, the current amount of leakage from the town could potentially support approximately 100,000 square feet of retail space. Okay, we took all that out. So when I read this bullet on the office employment, assuming an overall sustained annual employment growth rate, the county should add 4,900 new jobs over the next 20 years, and you could demand for 480,000 square feet of new office space.
I want to go back to the.
In the county,
Yeah, in the county, in the county.
and in the town share.
And then the town share would be
This is an
50 to 60,000.
This is an interpolation of
Yes.
information
Yes.
from DOLA, essentially.
Yes.
So, whatever your pleasure is.
So on that previous page that we took out,
That was retail square footage.
that's retail. But I do remember when we were looking at the center plan, the sketch plan for that, that's about 60,000 additional, or no, that's a
No, it'll be a total of right around 70, as I recall.
70?
Mhm.
So,
That's including some existing that's gonna remain.
right,
As well as additional proposed.
right. And then there was that skosh that would be available up in the mall with potential redevelopment of the mall that was identified, I think, by Mr. Purvis, who got to the number that is here.
Well, I think what Councilor Circus is showing or pointing out is, it is just raw data from the Department of Local Affairs.
Right.
This is not a policy statement at all. It's just like, if you took the raw data and extrapolated it,
Right.
this could
This
be
would be-
met. Our plan, that if you adopt this, says we're not doing it, but this is just an extrapolation of raw data saying,
For
if you
both
wanted to, you could.
retail and
Yeah.
office.
No, this is for office.
Well, we took it out on the other one,
We did.
so for consistency, we ought to take it out on office. I'm suggesting perhaps we put it back in for both.
These are in the appendices, so it's a style issue
Yes,
at this point for you guys. I mean,
Take it
the
out.
fundamentals are there.
I don't care. Just be consistent.
I'm fine, take it out. Let's take it out.
Take the office out.
Yeah, because you do have to be consistent, and, but quite frankly, I'm really questioning the earlier one too, but, okay.
All right. And the rest really just little things.
Are they just editorial?
No, it's just, yeah, more or less. I mean, page 172 of 460 on the red line, page 392 of the final. We've been changing sidewalks to walkways, and we just missed one. No big deal.
Right.
Let's, see that page again,
On
please?
what page?
392 of the final. Second column, second paragraph, third line.
Sorry.
It was a sidewalk?
Yeah.
Got it
Yeah,
cut out.
sidewalks.
Uh-huh. And then, well, there's something, this was just something that confused me on page 402 of the final, or 182 of the red line. We had taken out, under Little Red Schoolhouse, we had taken out the last sentence, and it seems like it got re-entered in the, well, actually, it looks like we had crossed out the last sentence and we re-entered it, because the replacement looks like the same as the last sentence.
We took that whole sentence out.
Yeah.
And we're going to replace it because the thought is now not to put it down at the rec center, but to expand it where it is.
The Red Schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know that they've made that conclusive decision yet.
Really?
They've asked to come to the council and ask for permission to
They
expand
came to
on it.
council and showed us the plans.
The council's passed a resolution supporting it.
And where's the other section?
Well, it's just that we took out the last sentence, and then
Yeah.
the
Adjacent to
box that says replace with is really the same as the last sentence
Right,
that we had taken out.
yeah.
So, I was just confused about it.
I'm sorry, and tell me the page you're on again,
It's,
The final page?
169.
Page 169.
169.
Four,
okay.
402, the final.
Yes, 42.
Take out the last sentence.
Yeah, needs to go out.
Okay,
Well, should it just say that the nonprofit that currently operates Little Red is studying the feasibility of expanding the building to accommodate more children or possibly constructing a new facility, period?
We don't even need that in there.
It's in the, okay.
Well, you could put the nonprofit currently operates Little Red Schoolhouse is studying the feasibility of expanding the buildings to accommodate more children, period.
Okay, got it.
Anything else?
yeah, look, Julianne, look at, page 405 of the final. And see if, at the bottom of the first column, see if there is a,
Which topic, fire or?
no,
something?
fire, the fire.
Okay.
See if it says temporary facilities. Somewhere I thought it's, I made a note that I saw it somewhere in there.
It is, it does say temporary facilities have
And-
been located at the rodeo grounds.
Yeah, so that should be,
It should, 'cause
that
they're
should be taken out.
taken out, because
Yeah.
they're in.
Got it.
And on that same page, my notes showed that we changed the Aspen School District headline to educational facilities. And in the new versions, it came out as Aspen School District and other educational facilities. I don't know.
That was because
The
Alyssa
Alyssa.
had wanted us to
Yes.
incorporate
Right.
the CMC
right.
and
Right.
all of the facilities.
Yeah, no, I understood the other educational facilities, but was there a reason to separate out Aspen School District? Because they're all educational facilities.
Yeah, but it's a specific district that
Okay.
educates all our kids. The others are optional.
Okay. And believe it or
In
not,
terms of going to college, that's a choice. It's not required.
It still comes up on my tax bill. So I think we're in that district.
okay, one more. And
Aren't
I-
you pleased and proud?
And then I quit. Page 412 of the final.
What's the red line?
red line's 201 of 460. Under crossings, the second column, the second paragraph, that first sentence, although RRBF or a recommended improvement, I mean, I'd like to see that, I don't think that sentence is necessary, but if people feel it should be in there, the word recommended shouldn't be. Because who's recommended them?
It was in the connectivity.
Yeah.
There's a recommendation that has not yet fully been approved, but it's recommended. So I had no problems with the word recommended.
Okay.
So
About the rest of you?
You want to leave it as is?
Well,
I'm fine
we're
with,
talking.
I'm fine with recommended. Because it was recommended doesn't mean that the approved plan.
It doesn't make reference to the connectivity.
No,
Yeah, it
but I'm
doesn't.
fine with recommended.
Okay. Okay.
You know, speaking of the same page, looking at crossings, the second paragraph where some community members expressed concern that the proposed crossing designs would negatively impact the natural character of Breast Creek Road. You know, we're also talking about looking into the Owl Creek and or the Faraway Road, potential crossing. How does this affect that?
This just reiterates that you've said you're gonna explore it. You know, we've got dollars in the budget for next year, and actually, I was gonna hopefully schedule, I think, your workshop in December, which is actually a special meeting, but to have a discussion from you guys. We have a proposal we'll bring forward to you, and I'll, you know, at the risk of ruining the surprise, which there shouldn't be one, with the budget, we're just saying, let's explore this intersection instead of the one that's budgeted, which is Sinclair.
I tell you, Owl Creek's the worst, because there's no, the thing about Far Away is there's a street light there, put the crosswalk there, but the Owl Creek one right now, when you come back up here at night and people crossing there when they get off the bus, there's no street light at all.
So on the 10th, we hope to have that discussion and.
Yeah,
I mean,
and, you know, just to talk about what you're saying, Marky, you know, I just think the paragraph, when it starts talking about a rapid flashing beacon, those are just temporary beacons. It's just when somebody's crossing, they hit the button and the flashing's over. I don't see it being such a big impact on.
Well, let's finish up this paragraph and we'll talk about that whenever you, yeah.
Well, I'm just referring to the same page that Bob's
Yeah.
on. That's
Yeah.
why I'm bringing it up.
As long as, yeah, I think it's fine.
I mean, if it's okay with you, we've got it kind of penciled in for that 10th. We can figure out the discussion and how you want to move forward.
So no changes on page 179 of
I
the
don't
plan.
think so. I think it's fine.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. You have anything else?
Nope.
Thank you for the detailed
You're welcome.
review.
You're welcome.
I just got through the first part of the plan versus all the appendices.
As I told you, I had already done half of it.
Yeah. Tom, do you have anything else?
No, I had a note on that page that Bob just hit on, like I said, that last page, so. and that
Okay.
was all I had.
Let's go back, and what we have in front of us is the ordinance of the comp plan. So I'll see if we do have a motion for support for ordinance 9 comp plan. And let me get back over there.
Me too, I'm just trying to
Page
get there.
29. Do I have a motion for acceptance on the first reading of this ordinance as written?
I'll move to approve the ordinance.
Thank you, Bill. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion, clarification? If
No,
not,
Bob seconded it.
all in support, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
So do you need
We'd like to, if we could, we'd like to have the second reading on December 17th. I know that's not a full council, but that'll give us a month to make sure go through with any finalized, any final Ts, and bring back a nice clean
Yeah, let's go
document.
ahead and make sure that's on the schedule. And geez, we're just about done with this.
Congratulations.
So I'll continue the public hearing until the 17th for second reading of the ordinance. Job well done, Julianne and Clint and John.
It's a big project. Nice
Yeah,
work.
it was.
And I hear you're going on vacation now.
I will be going on vacation.
That might be another reason the 17th of December worked better, but
Oh, now the truth comes out. Okay, well, thank you all very much, and we've already talked about the art project. We'll move on to council reports and actions. Tom, do you have anything?
We've had a core meeting past Thursday, we have actually a bunch coming up. One thing core's looking into, and I have to clarify some of this, I'm actually having a meeting with Marty, Mona's assistant, next week, and core wants, they're looking forward and moving forward with trying, with some of the rebates to, I'm gonna use the word electrify everything, where they could possibly keep the rebates along the lines of electric and energy, of course, energy efficient stuff, but along that line, I want to make it clear that, and that was my meeting, why my meeting is with Marty, is that, you know, the natural gas company is not part of our board, even though Bill Sterling has said it was at one point, but I don't know, I need the clarification if it was Rocky Mountain Gas, because now that it's Black Hills Energy, they may want to be part of the board at one point and get involved in some of the energy efficiencies of natural gas that are probably more efficient as a consumer goes, as it regards to letting your electric meter spin. You know, their electrifying comments and direction they're going in, they need to clarify more, and we're gonna get to that point. So we have 3 or 4 meetings coming up in this month. That's it for me.
I have a RWAPA meeting on 29th of November, and I will have more information afterwards.
Okay, I had a wonderful RAFTA meeting on Thursday, November the 8th. Needless to say, it was a celebration of the RAFTA ballot initiative passing, and had wonderful fake champagne and cake. But it was,
Nice.
fake champagne and real cake. It was quite wonderful to celebrate with my fellow colleagues. We did work on the budget, and the budget was approved on first reading, and there'll be the final review of the budget for 2019 in December. We also, there's been a lot of work on the South Bridge project down in Glenwood Springs, which gets into the whole issue of the access and control plan and breaking the rail banking and how we get everything into an escrow for that to happen. There's been a lot of legal work done on making that happen. And last week we saw the first draft of a resolution for that to happen with a lot of lawyers at the meeting. Bill Mullins with Baker and Miller and Paul Tadoon really has done a great job for RAFTA on our side of the initiative. And then I'll talk more later about that whole escrow agreement and how that will work, as the South Bridge project will probably be coming forward over the next few years, because it is not a good intersection if you've all been where the South Bridge project is to go, which is at 27th Street that goes down to two-lane bridge, and then it gets very complicated. So very, very busy traffic. So anyway, so we've had to work through all of the agreements on the South Bridge. I think those were the major issues. Dan Blankenship's contract or employment. We're in the process of doing his evaluation and looking at his comp for next year. And I will tell you, that man works so hard campaigning that if you see him, thank him. Even if you were for it or against, doesn't make any difference. That man would show up, Dan would show up anywhere, anytime to address any issue, so if you see him, thank him. With that, I don't have anything else on my calendar relative to town meetings.
The Nordic Council has successfully, well, in partnership with Aspen and also the Aspen Valley Ski Club, we have man-made snow for Nordic skiing for the first time, well, not the first time ever, but we have employed our new snowmaking equipment, which is designed specifically for Nordic trails. So there's now 1K of man-made snow over by the ski club, and I think that's a great step. I think it's really going to become more and more important as we go forward here. And really big thanks goes out to Five Trees from their cooperation for allowing us to run this test, which hopefully becomes a permanent installation.
Yeah, I was listening to Nonprofit in the Spotlight the other day. It's a month-long series for those of you who do not regularly listen to Aspen Public Radio, which I have the honor to do every day going to and from work. But Wilkerson and Mallory were talking about the snowmaking, and I would hope that you pull it up and listen to it. It's pretty.
I heard it too.
That's pretty darn amazing.
Yeah.
Or go over there and put your skis on and go for a ski.
Is it already going?
It's going, yeah. They had a soft opening last Thursday, and people were skiing Friday, so.
Where is it, Bill?
It's right next to the ski club.
So by the high school.
Yeah,
By the high school.
Park in the high school parking lot.
So do the residents at Five Trees, are they allowed to use the lift as well? Or is it just the ski club lift?
Oh, no, it's a Five Trees lift. The ski club's allowed to use it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The season has begun.
Yes, it has.
Okay, anything else this evening? Clint, John?
Skiing's great.
It's good. I wouldn't go great.
I lived in the desert for a lot longer than he did.
Well, think about where we were this time last year.
Well, it's a dramatic improvement over that.
Yeah.
So I do hope and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and have a good one, and we'll see you on the mountain.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Thank you very much.
Second?
All in support?
Aye.
Aye.
I did it before 6 o'clock.
Nice job. Quarter is 20 to 6.